مشاهدي الكرام، السلام عليكم ومرحبا بكم في برنامجكم هذا علم وحضارة. اليوم تشاهدون الحلقة 100 من هذا البرنامج. سيكون مخصصا بالشبان باحثين في هذه الجامعة، جامعة محمد السادس للعلوم والتقنيات متعددة التخصصات. كما تعلمون العلم يتكلم لغات مختلفة: العربية، الفرنسية، الإنجليزية ولغات أخرى. كل باحث وباحث اليوم سيختار اللغة التي يعبر بها بسهولة. هنا في هذه الجامعة أقسام كثيرة في البحث والدراسة تتميز بمهارتها. هناك علوم الكيمياء، علوم الطب، علوم الهندسة، علوم الزراعية، علوم الإنسانية، لا أعدها كلها. وكما سيظهر في الحوار مع الطلاب والباحثين، سنركز معهم على إفريقيا بالأخص وعلى الدول التي هذه الجامعة لها اتفاقات وروابط. فلنبدأ بالعلوم الزراعية ومع الطالبة من كينيا كارولين أكيني أووا. Hi, Miss Caroline Akini Owa.
Hello, hi.
I'm very happy that you participate to this event. You are here in this university UM6P, and you will introduce yourself and please also the field of your research as well.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. As I've said, my name is Caroline Akini Owa, originally from Kenya, and I'm here as a predoctoral candidate at the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences under the CGIAR UM6P Pan-African Scholarship. Majorly, my research focuses on using remote sensing, artificial intelligence, and crop models to estimate yields, especially in regions where we have scarce data among smallholder farmers.
As I understand, today we cannot just escape techniques as AI and artificial intelligence for many fields, your field as well, agriculture. How do you deal with this kind of modelization for fertilization in your field?
For us, especially as I mentioned, in smallholder farmers, we have a challenge of having a lot of data that farmers can use to estimate the yields, to be able to determine when is the right time to plant their crops. So leveraging the technologies that have emerged, especially in earth observations and the use of crop models, we can be able to simulate the conditions that are happening on the farm and use that techniques to be able to predict and advise the farmers on what the best time they can plant their farmers so that they can be able to improve their yields, improve their income and the food security of the continents and their families as well.
Thank you. Your neighbor as well is in the same field. He has already international experience. See, Mohamed Boulouz, you are also belonging to this College of Agriculture, Innovation Agriculture. As we have been told by Ms. Caroline, it's about innovation, all what you are doing in this university. And please give us, after introducing yourself, elements of what you are doing in these fertilizer sciences.
My name is Mohamed Boulouz, and I'm a PhD student at UM6P, and I'm working at the Agricultural Innovation and Technology Transfer Center. My work focuses on quantifying and modeling the greenhouse gas emissions from fertilizer-based cropping system in Morocco. I have also done some related work in the South America. When I'm saying
Colombia,
yes,
as well?
Yeah, exactly. It was in Colombia. And in Morocco, basically, we are interested in the nitrous oxide emissions because it's a very potent greenhouse gases. And when I'm saying that it's 300 times more powerful than the CO2. And basically, one of the challenges in Morocco, as it is the case in many other African countries, is we lack data, as my colleague here said. Like, we don't have enough scientific evidences to prove how much our fields are emitting and why our fertilizer does not give the best productivity, because our yield still
You have
low.
also an experience in Ghana as well. What was it about?
In Ghana, my work was about yield gap analysis in the country, because in Ghana, they are consuming a lot of maize. But the yield, as I said, was very low. So my objective was to model the potential yield of the country and then to see the difference with the actual yield, then to try to explain why there is a yield gap. Then based on this information, like the policymaker can make like more optimized recommendation for the farmers.
Maybe later, Ms. Caroline will introduce you to her country, Kenya, to continue to perform your experience. Thank you so much. Your neighbor will shift to Marwa Al-Grawi. Hi.
Hi.
So you are also dealing with agriculture, but you focus on building. What is it about, this idea to be in building agriculture field? What's the field about?
Yeah, so thank you for having us, first of all. And my field of research is mainly in biodiversity and conservation biology. So the main objective, I was working, first of all, I was working on a Vigna genus, which is a genus of underutilized legume species, which are very important and they have a huge potential to ensure food security in Africa. So we were looking at their ecological strategies, functional strategies, but also at ways to improve methodological frameworks that are used to assess the conservation status of plants in ex situ repositories, which means mainly gene banks. And so we were using all kinds of geospatial tools and modeling techniques to be able to see how much genetic diversity is actually conserved. And this is particularly important in the context of climate change and biodiversity loss.
About biodiversity, you try to have food systems that are resilient
Yes.
to climate change.
Yes.
And everybody knows that the challenges about climate change is very important. And how is it oriented in your field?
Yes, so what you said is very important because we want a lot of diversity. We don't want to rely just on a few crops and make our food systems very vulnerable. So we want as much diversity as we can have that is adapted to different local conditions. And that's why we were particularly interested in these underutilized crops, because they have a huge potential in terms of climate adaptation, in terms of nutritional quality of these crops. And we were particularly interested into looking at their potential to diversify cropping and farming systems in Africa.
Yes, thank you so much. Your neighbor, Tinashe Magada Mwarodzva, from Zimbabwe. Hi.
Thank you so much. How are you?
You are also in crop sciences involved as well. But what's the specificity of your research here in UNCXP?
Thank you so much. My name is Tinashe Magada Mwarodzva from Zimbabwe, doing my pre-doctoral studies under the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. And my PhD is focusing on agricultural innovation systems for climate change and adaptation.
Okay, and you say adaptation to climate change, as we have been heard, or
Yes.
we have been told. What other kind of adaptation? Climate change, but I think also the adaptation to aridity and the drought that we have experiencing, unfortunately, in this country, Morocco, but also in other countries in Africa?
Yes, we are looking at adaptation in terms of our farming systems, in terms of how we are going to efficiently or sustainably produce our food production, also to close the yield gap between the field and the fork, and also to make sure food availability and food security is attained from household level, small-scale farming holders, and at national and continental levels at large.
Thank you so much. We'll shift to Mariam Shukri. Mariam Shukri, you are also in this College of Agriculture. Please introduce yourself and the field of your PhD you are doing here.
Thank you so much for having us. It's an honor to be with the UM6P scientists and with you. I'm an agronomic engineer. Specialized in ecology and the management of natural ecosystems. And now I'm pursuing my PhD on the use of Earth observation imagery, advanced modeling algorithms, and monitoring systems to produce crop type inventories in Morocco. And we hope that we will have robust results to be extrapolated to Africa.
What do we expect from these inventories of crops to choose what's the more efficient or?
Actually, like in the African context and the Moroccan context, we don't have so much data. So I guess all of my colleagues will face the problem of the lack of data. So these crop type inventories or crop type maps will be as a reference for like common studies and for research in agronomy.
Yes, I think that the archiving many elements from agriculture here in this country is a huge problem. We are dealing with this problem of archiving, of having data in this country in many fields. It's really one of the big issues as well.
Yes,
thank you so much. Your neighbor, William Makaba from Zimbabwe, you are completely specialized in all what about acidity and toxicity in agriculture. So it's harsh problems you are facing. Please give us more details about it. And first, introduce yourself. And I think you are from Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much. My name is William Makaza, and I'm a PhD candidate at the College of Agriculture Center for Soils and Fertilizer Research in Africa. It's actually interesting because we are in the garden where the wisdom is being cultivated. So for me, when I see soil acidity, which is my area of specialization, and fertilizer toxicity, it is something that we cannot run away from because we take it, or I am taking it from the One Health concept where we start from the soil, and then we go to the plant, then we go to animals, and to humans, because we are the end user of this. But what is going to happen to the environment? So actually, this is the approach that we are doing in assessing the fertilizer toxicity and the liming materials, which are the forgotten fertilizers in this world of soil acidity in tropical regions.
Am I wrong if I say that all about toxicity is about having a kind of security in our food system?
For sure. So we are actually interested in securing our food production systems by mitigating all the challenges that are happening, because everything related to agriculture normally starts from the soil. So if we fix this problem of soil acidity, especially in the tropical regions, definitely we are addressing the issues related to production and the yield gaps that my colleagues like Buluz was indicating. They are going to be addressed well. The adaptability that Marwa and Tinashe were talking about, we will improve the adaptability of these cropping systems, and definitely the food security and food sovereignty systems will be maintained.
Yes, and does it happen that you compare what you are doing here with what you were doing in your country, Zimbabwe?
So, because here we don't have, in Morocco, we don't have acidic conditions, we have calcareous conditions, and which is again another problem. So one of my research for the starter fertilizers, I'm working here in Morocco for the acidic conditions. I'm dealing in the sub-Saharan conditions and other tropical countries, and including Canada as well. So this issue is actually a global aspect that we really need to address, and it may bring something interesting through the artificial intelligence, like what other colleagues said, and through machine learning. Probably we may predict something interesting in future.
Yes, and what's fascinating is all of you are speaking about simulation, modelization, imagery as well, and your neighbor is also completely involved in machine learning application to crop, to have the best prediction, I suppose. Hi, Miss Omnia Nagy. Very happy to have you here with all your friends from the College of Agriculture. You are doing innovation as well in this field. Please introduce yourself and give us more about these challenges we are facing, and your colleagues have already said many things about.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ali. My name is Omnia Nagy. I am a PhD candidate at the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences and at the Computing College. So as my colleagues, I am also working on predicting crop yields and specifically nutrient management. We are working on developing site-specific decision tools for crop yield predictions and nutrient management. And of course, using AI to be able to do this and machine learning. And as my colleagues said earlier, there are challenges, and there is an actual common challenge, which is data that it is very scarce during in this field specifically. So our work is not only trying to predict and give the best decisions, but also to understand these drivers that drive these predictions. So mainly our work is focused on soil variables, understanding how these impact the actual output, that is yield predictions, trying to mitigate the effect of this data scarcity. We are also working on defining guidelines and best practices for machine learning application in this field of specifically nutrient management and fertilizer use.
And I mentioned machine learning application, but also you are dealing with drones to secure a kind of crop health, to monitor this crop health, or what is it about?
Yes, drones are also used to be able to give better decisions and to monitor and give better fertilizer use. We may use them to have an idea about the crop health, especially for nitrogen, that's easy to detect.
Yes, thank you so much. So you are all of this college. Some of you maybe want to add something after listening to your colleagues said before we jump to the other department. Yes, please.
So I just want to add that.
Si Mohamed
Yes.
Boulouz, yeah.
So I just want to add that all of us, we are working in kind of linked topics, because the major objective is to understand why our yield in Africa are very low. So for me, I'm quantifying the greenhouse gas emissions. That means I'm quantifying how much of the fertilizer for the farmer that the farmer added is just lost. We are losing as a greenhouse gas. My colleague there is trying to understand the toxicity effect of the fertilizer. That means in general, if we keep applying the fertilizer, it does not necessarily mean that we will increase the yield, but actually the yield might go down, but we are contributing to environmental degradation in several ways.
Oh, yes. It's all about biodiversity, also preserving biodiversity, as it has already been said. Thank you so much for all of you. We will move to biomedicine, biology, and with our friend, Si Hamza Turk. Hi, Si Hamza Turk.
Hello, Professor. How are you
Please
doing?
introduce yourself in the biology field you are involved in.
First of all, good day, everyone. I'm very glad and honored to be here with you. To introduce myself, my name is Aturk Hamza. I'm a PhD student here at the Faculty of Medical Sciences at UM6B. I'm specialized in public health with a particular interest in cognitive functioning. In other words, how cognitive function evolves across time and how lifestyle behaviors, personal threats, and environmental factors such as work environments and so on could affect or could shape our cognition across time.
It has to deal with neurosciences as well, if you mention cognitive faculties.
Yes, cognitive science is a multidisciplinary science, including psychology, neuroscience, even artificial intelligence, and so on. So this is why it's very complex and hard to study, and this is one of the challenges.
But I have been told that you are also involved in polymorphisms of one of the genes. Can you say words about it?
Yes, that was during my master's degree. I was focusing on personalized medicine. We were trying to find what polymorphisms are responsible for the inter-individual variability of response to anti-vitamin K treatments in a small population in Morocco.
So because the issues today are very important about target pills and target medicine. If you speak about personalized medicine, this research about genes is very important.
Yes,
and
genetics.
I think all of you are building our future. And I think one of the futures in health sciences is this first work you did.
Yes, first I was trying to find my way. I tried the genetic part. So when I saw that it doesn't contribute that much, I digged into environmental factors and how they could influence, for example, diet, physical activity, and so on. For example, shift workers who tend to work during the night and be asleep during the day are more susceptible to have negative consequences. Yeah. We, as a research team, are trying to find patterns and also identify the mechanisms, the causal pathways that lead to these cognitive impairments or cognitive decline, to be more specific.
Thank you so much. Your neighbor also is about things that are so new and so important in health sciences, immunology and oncology as well. Your name is Walid Esritar. Hi, Mr. Walid, and please introduce yourself.
Well, first, thank you so much for this invitation, and I'm very honored to be present in this special episode of this program. So, my name is Khater Walid, and I'm a PhD candidate at the Faculty of Medical Science. And my field of research is mainly immuno-oncology, which combines both immunology and oncology at the same time. Because in the last decades, we started recognizing the importance of the immune system as a defense system, but also it contributes also to cancer. In some diseases like cancer, it contributes to its growth and proliferation. So there are some new therapeutic strategies that are specifically targeting the immune system, and we are trying in our team to find some more affordable and available therapies for the patients. Specifically, I'm specialized in therapy for breast cancer.
Yes, and in this university we already invite Professor Miriam Merad. She's at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. And when we were preparing this show, you said that you read from her many papers. She's huge scientist today in the US as well. And when she came here, she said that immunology is about really the system of all our body, not just the specific organ, kidney or something else. So she said that we have to see otherwise all medicine with this kind of systematic immunology.
Exactly.
And that's fascinating.
Yeah, this is a great point of view, because when we are treating diseases as organ-specific point of view, it's very difficult because we are touching other organs and other systems. But when we are integrating many other systems, this is the best point of view in terms of therapies.
Thank you so much. Your neighbor, Zakaria Tabia. Assalamu alaikum. Hi. You are also in this kind of biomedicine, if I may say, with applying chemistry to medicine and traumatistic orthopedic as well. That's fascinating also, because when we just mix together two fields, chemistry and medicine, there is also always something very new happening in innovation as well.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourself and tell us more about your field.
So first of all, thank you for the invitation. So my name is Zakaria Tabian. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the Faculty of Medical Sciences. So as you said, I'm working in an interdisciplinary field between material science and biology. So my field focuses mainly on tissue regeneration and more specifically on developing biomaterials for bone regeneration in cases, regeneration of bone tissues following, for example, fractures or resections of tumors or infected tissues. So as you said, it can be exciting to work in the interdisciplinary field between material science and biology.
And I have to say that this year we have inaugurated the big hospital in this university. And so many patients will hopefully have effects of your research as well. When you say regeneration tissues, are you also doing things about stem cells, about all what's occurring now, about human cells in the regeneration of tissues?
Yeah, so I must say I'm a material scientist and not a biologist, but novel biomaterials or biomaterials of today need to have a holistic approach in their development process, meaning that we can't just use the material science part and discard the biology. So for example, we can include the stem cells in the biomaterials and then include this biomaterial in the bone. And finally, it can stimulate the regeneration process of the affected tissues.
Thank you so much. And all what you said give us the transition with the chemistry. Now we will be moving to this big field here, and huge field here in UMCSP, which is chemistry, applied chemistry, engineering, with all our researchers as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. So now we move to chemistry, and this university is known, of course, with its, for its close relation with OCP, offischerifiant des phosphates, and all the chemistry here, mainly most of the chemistry done here in the field of research has to deal with phosphate industry. And you, Mohamed Reda Ben Mansour, you are here working on this very important challenge about heavy metals that are mixed, if I'm not wrong, with phosphate, and you have to split them from phosphate. Is it this or not? Am I wrong if I say that? But please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Professor Ben Makhlouf, for inviting me to this special episodes of Science and Civilization program. So I am Mohamed Reda Ben Mansour, a doctor in chemistry, and I'm focusing, as you said, on the treatment of the industrial phosphoric acid in terms of eliminating the contaminants in it. So in order to enhance its quality, because it serves as a raw material in the production of fertilizers. So we developed a new process and we filed a patent on it. So achieving a high efficiency in terms of contaminant elimination and increasing the industrial phosphoric acid quality.
Because it is about health or about yield? I don't understand quite the issue. To split the heavy metals from the phosphate.
Okay, as you said in your first question, yes, the heavy metals are naturally present in the phosphate.
Yes.
So it transforms by the attack of the sulfuric acid on the phosphate to the phosphoric acid that we are treating in order to decrease the heavy metals in the phosphoric acid matrix. And then the phosphoric acid serves as a raw material to produce the fertilizer. So our fertilizer will be more sustainable and efficient.
So Are you working with the site of producing phosphate here in SV, or are you completely involved in your laboratory of research without this kind of interaction?
No, me and my colleagues, we present a team that conducts all their PhD period, not all of it, but the most of it at Jorfelsfar sites in El Jadida, in the heart of the industry of phosphate processing.
Okay, that's really applying chemistry.
Yes.
So we move to your friend, you mentioned him, c'est Hamza Chanouri. Nous allons parler en français. On a dit que toutes les langues s'invitent dans les sciences et toutes les sciences invitent les langues. Alors, vous, précisément, c'est toujours ce traitement des sous-produits des phosphates. Dites-nous d'abord un peu quelques éléments sur votre parcours et ce travail que vous faites avec votre collègue, c'est Mohamed Rida Ben Mansour.
Super. Alors, je suis Hamza Chanouri, je suis un docteur en hydrométallurgie. C'est une spécialité de la chimie de l'Université Mohamed VI Polytechnique et à l'Université Côte d'Azur. Alors, mes travaux se concentrent sur la valorisation, pas les produits primaires, ça veut dire l'acide phosphorique comme avait indiqué Rida, mais les sous-produits qui se produisent par la transformation de la roche phosphatée, ça veut dire les phosphogypses et les boues phosphoriques. Je dois mentionner que ces sous-produits sont 5 fois plus que le produit précieux, qui est l'acide phosphorique. Donc, il faut trouver des solutions pour valoriser ces sous-produits. Donc, c'est ce qu'on fait dans notre département, c'est qu'on essaie de trouver des solutions radicales, innovantes, développement des procédés afin de répondre à cette challenge qui n'est pas un challenge au niveau du Maroc, mais mondial.
C'est cela. Donc, quand on dit phosphate, il faut introduire dans les phosphates beaucoup d'autres choses dont on n'a pas idée. Donc, l'élément de dénomination, phosphate, ne correspond pas à la réalité de la matière.
Oui, c'est ça. En fait, quand on parle du phosphate ou bien de la roche phosphatée, il contient un mélange des éléments, il contient pas mal d'éléments qui sont critiques ou bien d'autres valeurs ajoutées. Je cite notamment, par exemple, les éléments de terre rares qui existent à faible concentration, les fluorures, ainsi de suite. Donc, dans notre département, ce qu'on essaie de faire, c'est que de valoriser la totalité des composantes contenues dans ces roches phosphatées. Et comme avait mentionné Rida, on travaille dans le site industriel. Alors, on travaille majoritairement soit à l'IM6P de Jorfelsfar ou bien à l'IM6P d'Asfi. Pourquoi? C'est parce qu'on essaie de trouver des solutions radicales, de bénéficier de retours d'expérience des ingénieurs là-bas afin de développer des procédés qui peuvent être appliqués. Donc, ce qu'on essaie de faire, c'est le bridging entre ce qui est recherche académique et la recherche appliquée.
Et c'est ce fossé qu'il faut toujours combler, bien sûr, parce que vous faites de la théorie pratique et de la pratique théorique.
Oui, exactement.
On peut dire ça comme ça.
Tout à fait, exactement.
Et votre collègue aussi, Si Ayoub Al-Mahmoudi, est aussi engagé dans la chimie organique et la chimie du phosphore. Alors, qu'est-ce qui fait que vous ne répétez pas les mêmes recherches de personne à une autre? Bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour Si Al-Mahmoudi. Peut-être quelques éléments sur votre parcours jusqu'à présent, jusqu'à rejoindre cette université.
Donc, merci, M. Brumkhlouf. Donc, je suis ravi d'être ici aujourd'hui. Donc, je suis Ayoub Al-Mahmoudi, docteur en chimie organique et pharmacochimie. Donc, je suis actuellement postdoc à l'UM6P, au département CBS, Chemical and Biochemical Sciences, en collaboration avec l'Université Côte d'Azur à Nice, à Nice, en France.
Oui, parce que, pardon de vous interrompre, votre voisin aussi est passé par l'Université de Nice et je crois qu'il faut véritablement insister, comme beaucoup l'ont dit tout à l'heure, sur la mobilité. Tout à l'heure, quand on a entendu nos amis du Collège d'agriculture, ça va de la Colombie au Ghana, au Kenya, au Zimbabwe, au Maroc. Et je crois que c'est des choses très, très importantes, voilà, cette mobilité et l'internationalisation aussi des études. C'est comme ça que précisément par l'interaction, on arrive à performer, si je puis dire, les recherches. Donc vous avez parlé de Nice de manière naturelle, mais je crois qu'effectivement, il faudrait qu'on se mette à parler de manière naturelle de la mobilité.
Voilà.
Pardon de vous avoir interrompu, vous continuez, si Ayoub El-Mahmoudi.
Donc, merci. Et en collaboration aussi avec notre grand collaborateur, l'OCP. Donc, mon travail se concentre sur deux axes principaux. Donc, d'une part, la synthèse de nouvelles molécules bioactives, organophosphorées, pour des applications en chimie médicinale. Et d'autre part, la synthèse de nouvelles collecteurs à base de phosphore pour des applications industrielles. Donc, je fais la synthèse des centaines de molécules. Reda, Reda est le test, donc I'm sorry Reda. Donc, on a arrivé à...
Vous êtes en amont du travail que fait le Mansour,
voilà,
c'est ça?
Donc, moi, c'est côté synthèse des nouvelles collecteurs. Et Reda, il innove côté application sur l'ion flotation.
Mais ce que j'ai compris, c'est que si Ben Mansour, il est un petit peu le distributeur des travaux, parce que votre collègue, Monsieur Mahazou Ganaba, bonjour, vous travaillez aussi sous le... Pardon, vous voulez ajouter quelque chose avant, excusez-moi.
Monsieur Ganaba, donc je suis vraiment très fier de travailler avec Reda parce qu'on a arrivé à des merveilles. Donc, il a sorti des brevets, lui et bien sûr Hamza, mais on n'a pas arrêté à ce stade. Donc, on est arrivé maintenant à la stade de production. Je pense que c'est ça l'objectif de cette université. Et bien sûr, pour notre cher Maroc. Donc, on est arrivé au stade de la production de notre propre produit 100% marocain.
Je comprends ce que vous dites, mais le résultat, il n'y a pas de résultat s'il n'y a pas de processus. Voilà. Donc, vous décrivez le processus de la recherche, et ce processus de la recherche est très important. La recherche ne se mesure pas toujours au résultat. Je parlais tout à l'heure de Madame Merad, qui travaille à New York sur l'immuno-oncologie. Il faut savoir qu'aux États-Unis, on accepte qu'une recherche n'aboutisse pas. On finance, on finance, on finance, et puis à un certain moment, certaines aboutissent. C'est-à-dire l'échec dans la recherche fait partie de la recherche. Il ne s'agit pas de dire qu'on va tous échouer, non, mais on peut tester une voie qui est sans issue. Dead end of the process. It's not a problem, you know. So you say that the main importance, the main thing is to have a result because it's what is really visible. But you know, the process is also very important. And we are here describing the mindset, the mind states also that are always next to research. Thank you, Sir Ayoub. And your neighbor, Monsieur Mahazou Ganaba, merci d'être là parmi nous. Vous êtes du Burkina Faso et vous êtes aussi engagé dans le traitement des phosphates naturels, comme il a déjà été dit, mais probablement vous allez nous donner des éléments plus spécifiés.
D'accord. Tout d'abord, bonjour, cher professeur. D'ores et déjà, permettez-moi de vous adresser mes remerciements sincères pour l'opportunité que vous m'offrez de prendre part à cette émission. Alors, je réponds au nom de Moaz Ganaba, originaire du Burkina Faso. Et je suis actuellement doctorant au sein du département CBS, Chemical and Biochemical Sciences de l'Université Mohamed VI Polytechnique. Alors, mes travaux de recherche se concentrent sur la purification de l'acide phosphorique. Il faut noter que l'acide phosphorique se produit principalement selon deux méthodes. Il y a la voie thermique et la voie humide. La voie thermique, qui implique une combustion du phosphore élémentaire, produit un acide d'une grande pureté qui permet des utilisations sensibles comme l'alimentation et la pharmacie. Cependant, ce procédé est très énergivore et très coûteux. En revanche, quand on parle de la voie humide, il consiste à attaquer directement le minerai de phosphate par de l'acide sulfurique. Donc, ce procédé est beaucoup plus économique et beaucoup plus utilisé dans l'industrie, notamment dans la production des engrais. Toutefois, l'acide phosphorique obtenu à partir de ce procédé contient d'énormes impuretés, d'où la recherche pour la purification de l'acide phosphorique.
Quand vous dites les impuretés, on est dans les métaux lourds toujours.
Effectivement.
Dans les métaux lourds, pardon.
Effectivement. Donc, c'est le cas des métaux lourds qui rendent l'acide impropre à certaines utilisations sensibles, en fait, comme je le disais tantôt, l'alimentation et la pharmacie. Donc, mon travail, c'est beaucoup plus d'explorer et de mettre en place des méthodes innovantes, à la fois innovantes, efficaces et durables pour éliminer ces impuretés afin d'élargir le domaine d'utilisation de l'acide phosphorique et également de diminuer l'impact environnemental.
Vous avez mentionné à 2 reprises la pharmacie, c'est-à-dire que votre travail de transformation, il a une application directe en pharmacopée?
Le résultat direct, en fait, c'est pour déjà diminuer l'impact environnemental, c'est-à-dire la toxicité des métaux lourds, et aussi d'avoir une valeur ajoutée plus importante pour le produit. Maintenant, l'acide phosphorique obtenu a plusieurs applications. Et parmi ces applications, on a la pharmacie.
D'accord, j'ai compris. Et précisément, vous aussi, vous participez à cette interaction avec les sites de production qui sont El Jadida, Asfi, des phosphates?
Oui, effectivement, puisque le département a plusieurs sites. Il y a le site ici à l'Université Mohamed VI Polytechnique, il y a le site à Jorf et également à Safi. Donc souvent, on a des missions pour effectuer des tests également dans ces laboratoires.
D'accord. Merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup, merci. Nous saluons tous vos compatriotes du Burkina Faso qui pourraient regarder cette émission un jour ou peut-être, pourquoi pas en direct. En tout cas, nous vous fournirons le lien pour tous vos contacts pour qu'ils puissent voir comment vous évoluez parmi nous. Et je vous réitère la bienvenue au nom de cette université, au nom du Maroc, vous et notre collègue du Kenya, nos collègues du Zimbabwe. Je le dis et je le répète, cette université a véritablement une orientation africaine au sens large. Elle fait partie de l'Afrique, elle est construite sur le sol africain et bien évidemment, elle essaye d'être le maximum en interaction toute naturelle avec le continent qui a été, avant l'expérience coloniale, un continent de la connectivité, de la continuité entre les différents pays qui le composent. Merci beaucoup. Alors, votre voisin, si Ali Ait Baha, we will switch to English. And you also are completely involved in this sustainable chemistry, if I may say, about the way, maybe specifically in your case, the energy transition to address environment challenges. Please introduce yourself before giving hints on the field which is yours.
Good morning. So at first, thanks Professor Ali for the invitation to the 100th episode of حضارة program. So my name is Ali Aitbaha and I'm a PhD student at CBS department, Chemical and Biochemical Process, Chemical and Biochemical Sciences, Green Process Engineering. So I'm a research student specializing in the synthesis of organophosphorus compounds or phosphorus chemicals using green and sustainable approaches. And this work actually focuses exactly on developing innovative methodologies that minimize the environmental impact while optimizing efficiency and resource utilization. So this PhD project actually is a part of the UMRP program, which is a collaborative program which was launched in 2016 between UM6P and MIT Institute, and which aims to create knowledge and human expertise actually in different fields, including.
Yes, can you give us more elements about green process and about these environment challenges you are mentioning? I think that's more specific to your research.
So what we are interested in actually in this PhD project is to take into account green process as a sustainable chemistry, as I said. So sustainable chemistry actually aims to develop chemical and chemical products and processes to allowing to eliminate or at least reduce the use and synthesis of hazardous chemicals. So for this PhD subject, actually, what we are aiming to do is to synthesize some phosphorus chemicals using sustainable approaches. So the organophosphorus chemicals actually, or phosphorus chemicals, the majority of them, if I don't say all of them actually, if we would like to synthesize these chemicals, we go as a starting material, we choose P4, which is white phosphorus, which is toxic element actually. So to synthesize actually this P4, we use a huge energy, and also the reaction, thermal reaction actually generates some toxic gases. So as I said before, so we would like to work on green approaches and green chemistry to deal with environmental challenges. So this actually is about synthesizing phosphorus chemicals using, for example, some green techniques. So to minimize or to eliminate actually some emissions that we can have in reactions.
Yes, your work mentioned also accelerating energy transition. Is it about what you just said, or is it something to consider apart?
Actually, when it comes to the energy transition, we often talk about, for example, like ammonia or green hydrogen. So what we are doing in our department actually is about phosphorus chemicals.
Okay.
So when it comes to energy transition, it is a little bit about environmental impacts, and this is what we are looking for actually to do.
And you mentioned transition, and see Mehdi Moumen, your neighbor, is completely doing a kind of transition in chemistry. But I don't understand more than what I said. So introduce yourself, please, Mehdi Moumen, and give us hints about this transition in chemistry.
Thank you, Professor Ali Mekhlou, for inviting me for this special episode for this TV program, Science and Civilization. So my name is Mehdi Moumen. I am a PhD student at Chemical and Biochemical Sciences Department, as my colleague already mentioned. Actually, I am in my final year, preparing soon to defend my thesis, inshallah. So my work is...
You will invite us, of course, all of us.
Yeah, you are all welcome to my thesis defense. So yeah, my research is dedicated to the synthesis of stable metal organic framework-based materials, always abbreviated as MOFs. So for the different application in adsorption and photocatalysis. So my work specifically, it's divided to two exciting projects that address two environmental challenges. The first one is the adsorption of heavy metals or other contaminants like dyes, and also some other molecules like phosphate anions to avoid eutrophication phenomenon. And the second one involves the conversion, photocatalytic conversion of CO2 to a high value added product. And this is in a collaboration between the UM6P and the École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne in Switzerland, yes, where we started almost now 2 years ago. And we are working to explore this different solution for the sustainable utilization of CO2.
Yes, and when you said photocatalysis, you have all the means, all the tools here in this university to do this kind of work?
Actually, this is what we were working on during this day. Actually, photocatalysis is mimicking the natural photocatalysis that exists by plants, yeah, after irradiation by the sun. So we need some lamps that they can irradiate the same irradiation as the sun irradiates. And we already, we talk about different support suppliers that we can buy different equipment that we can use here. And we already bought one in EPFL, and I went there for 2 internships to get expertise there.
In Lausanne?
In Lausanne.
Okay.
No, in Sion, actually, because
okay,
there is a main campus of EPFL in Lausanne, but there is another campus in Sion in Switzerland. Yeah, and we just received the photoreactor here in UM6P, and we're going to start this kind of experiment here exactly.
Good. That's very interesting. And we will move to still applied chemistry with the supervision of our colleague, Youssef Ben Mabrout. We will give him afterwards the mic to say a few words. But after your presentation And you are also involved, Si Ashraf Delhali. Have I pronounced correctly your name? Okay. So please introduce yourself and just, you know, for the audience, you are all doing chemistry, but you are not doing exactly the same things. So we had these nuances, this distribution of functions and roles. And for your work, you under the supervision of the Professor Belmabrout, Yusuf Belmabrout, you are doing, I will say, applied chemistry, but it is too wide a name to please be more specific after introducing yourself and what you have done until now. Si Ashraf Delhali.
Okay, so thank you, Professor Ben Makhlouf, for having us today. So I'm Ashraf Delhali, a PhD student within ASER department, and ASER stands for Applied Chemistry and Engineering Research Center of Excellence. So we are doing, just to make it easy for you and also for the audience, we are making fundamental chemistry, but we are also pushing it toward the application.
Okay.
For me, mainly I'm working on water-related applications and the development of porous materials for these challenges. This is known, everyone knows in Morocco and Africa is suffering from a shortage of water. It is a very critical situation that we are living today.
Oh, yes.
And under the supervision of Professor Yusuf, we have developed one prototype to make desalination very easy and efficient and sufficient for like small populations. For example, now the problem is that if you are living in a coastal city, so you have salty water. You have accessibility to water, but it is not drinkable. You cannot use it. And in order to implement an installation of desalination, you have to have at least hundreds of thousands or millions of population, because these are very large installations. With Professor Yusuf, we succeeded to make a miniaturized system that is now patented. And inside this system, you can really afford water to small populations, 400 to 500 to 500.
Southern Morocco.
In the southern part of Morocco, actually, it's a project.
This desalination works already.
Actually,
it's what you are saying.
It's a proof of concept.
Yeah.
That we are testing now. I am more material chemist, so this in this prototype, the heart of the system is a material that we are developing. And
yes, we are speaking really a lot in Morocco about this desalination. It gives us like a kind of expectation and hope because of this drought that we are living, which is so harsh from now more than 6 years. So your expertise in chemistry for these desalinations are really, really, very, very important.
Yes, and in addition to this, actually the big question that will be asked is, okay, but what if we are far from the sea? What if we are far from the ocean and we don't have access to salty water? So this is another project that I will go fastly, that's going on in parallel with the first one, is that we are using water that we have in the atmosphere. And we are developing kind of materials that are porous and that can trap water that we have in the atmosphere selectively. And by condensing this water, we can really generate water in very desert areas from the air.
Not for any use, for specific use, no?
Actually, we can go for drinkable water.
Oh, yeah?
Because that's the most important. We need to give people to drink, but we can also generate it for agriculture.
Yeah, I was thinking more about agriculture, but you say that it could be generic use.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Your neighbor, Uthman Sahili, is also in this, I may say, energy conversion, if possible. We can say that. Please introduce yourself and tell us more about this energy conversion. But you are also working about light. Light is very important in your work. And how is it implied in your research?
Hi everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you, Professor Belmakhlouf, for the invitation to your Aoula TV program. It's a pleasure for me to be invited to such interesting program like this one. My name is Uthman Sahili. I'm a PhD student within ASER Center, Applied Chemistry Engineering Research Center of Excellence, here at Mohammed VI Polytechnic University. So for my PhD project, focus on the elaboration of sustainable luminescent material based on rare earth complexes for solar energy conversion, and more specifically to fabricate a new photonic devices called luminescent solar concentrators.
That's where light comes.
Yes, exactly. And those devices can be an alternative to the expensive PV panels used as a smart window in building sector.
Yeah, and when we speak about solar energy conversion, is there here many other of your colleagues that are involved in this kind of energy conversion?
Yes, basically there is a lot of people that's working on the material that can convert solar energy to electricity. But for us, we are focusing on one type of device called luminescent solar concentrator. And we are the only team within Acer Center in Morocco and in Africa that we are developing those kind of photonic devices. Because we have a problem in the energy sector, because the building sector consumes around 33.6% of the total energy consumption, which is a huge amount of energy. So solar energy can be among the promoted energy sources to be used in this field or in this sector.
Yes, you also previously you had an experience in France, in the town of Nice as well?
It was in my master project.
Okay, and now with other countries, do you have a kind of mobility or interaction as well?
Yes, I had the chance to go for 6-month internship to KAUST, King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, and I would like to thank Professor Yusuf Belmhout because he initiated and created this collaboration between KAUST and UM6P. And I was the first PhD student from UM6P that benefit from this collaboration. And it was an amazing experience.
Yes, we hope that this will continue, of course, for others as well. Your neighbor, Lalla Ikram Bahiri, hi. You are also completely involved in conversion, but in biomass conversion. In this laboratory as well, under the supervision of your neighbor, Ustad Yusuf Belmhout. So, hi.
Hi, Professor. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm really glad to be here with you, sharing my experience with the different science from different colleges here in UM6P. So, to introduce myself, I'm Ikram Bahiri. I'm a PhD student within Acer department. My project concern is the thermochemical conversion of the biomass to different energy vectors, such as biochar, bio-oil, and gas. Our purpose is to replace fossil fuels with biochar, mainly to replace coal and coke, and this will help us first to reduce the waste, because day after days we generate more wastes, and also this will help us to reduce the CO2 emissions by using coal and coke, especially for iron making and phosphate process.
Yeah, and you are facing a global energy. You are not specialized in only one kind of conversion.
Yes, actually, the idea behind is that we convert the biomass by increasing the temperature. This is what we call pyrolysis process, and this will help us to generate different energy vector: biochar, bio-oil, and gas. Each one will be integrated in different processes in order to use renewable energies and to reduce the CO2 emissions in the industrial processes.
Yes, thank you. And all this happening under the supervision of Ustad Yusuf Belmhout. Thank you for sharing this program with us. You have already been my guest in face-to-face program, Science and Civilization, علم وحضارة. Thank you so much for being here with your students, with all the students of UM6P. And please give us just one or two of the challenges you are facing with your PhD students.
Okay, so I will be very brief. So thank you so much, Professor Makhlouf, again for this invitation. This is a great initiative, really, because as I mentioned in the last time with you in the episode, students are early stage researchers are the pillars of research and developments. And now, under our guidance, of course, and tomorrow in the future, they will be the ones who are deploying everything that we are doing now, whether as professors, as researchers, leaders, research leaders in industry, or even entrepreneurs, by the way. And they will be the one who train the new generations that the kingdom can move to a new knowledge-based technology. This is very important. I want to say that.
Yes, because they are building the future. Yeah. They are building the future. I'm getting out of the word, they are going to the word. And I think exactly like you, that the most important is to give the voice to the young people working. Unfortunately, in all our continent, Africa, young people who are really the majority, who are the hope of this continent, have not that much the voice to express themselves, to empower themselves, to be completely in good and useful projects. Thank you for mentioning this point. Thank you so much. Après avoir exploré le domaine de la chimie avec toutes ses variantes, nous allons voir avec vous, Siyous Samih, le domaine de la science des matériaux, des nanotechnologies. Vous êtes un scientifique confirmé, vous n'êtes pas étudiant en doctorat ni postdoctorat, et vous êtes précisément associé à ce département, ici à l'Université Mohamed VI, de MSN, dit MSN, qui a longtemps été dirigé par Siyous Alami, que nous saluons ici, qui a été un de mes invités dans les premières émissions. Et alors, vous allez d'abord bien sûr, vous présenter, Siyous Samih, et aussi nous donner une idée de ce qui se fait dans votre département avant de passer à vos autres collègues pour plus de présentations spécifiques.
Donc, bonjour, salam alaikum. Merci beaucoup pour l'invitation, professeur Makhlouf. Donc, Siyous Samih, je suis senior scientist au département MSN, donc le département des matériaux, des sciences des matériaux, de l'énergie et de la nano-ingénierie. Donc, au sein du département, on est organisé en 3 groupes de recherche. Un premier groupe qui traite tout ce qui est lié à la transition énergétique, matériaux pour les batteries, matériaux pour l'hydrogène, et tout ce qui est matériaux pour le captage des gaz, CO2 et d'autres. Un deuxième groupe qui traite tout ce qui est matériaux fonctionnels et intelligents. Donc on retrouve tout ce qui est biopolymères, composites.
Quand on dit matériaux intelligents, c'est-à-dire des matériaux qui interagissent?
Ce sont des matériaux qui peuvent être fonctionnalisés pour certaines fonctions, pour répondre à certaines problématiques. On parle également des traitements de surface, qui peuvent être chimiques, mécaniques ou thermochimiques, pour améliorer la résistance à l'usure, à la corrosion, ou pour développer tout ce qui est photovoltaïque, par exemple. Et on a une dernière équipe qui traite tout ce qui est métallurgie, ou développement des aciers pour l'automobile, pour l'énergie ou pour d'autres applications.
Oui, c'est un très grand département ici avec toutes ces branches-là. Merci d'avoir donné cette vue générale. Vous-même, vous avez eu votre doctorat en France, en Lorraine, c'est cela?
Oui, c'est ça.
Il portait sur quoi?
Il portait sur le traitement de surface d'acier inoxydable pour des applications nucléaires, donc pour améliorer tout ce qui est résistance à l'usure, etc. Donc on utilisait des traitements de surface spécifiques pour fonctionnaliser la surface, donc pour lui donner des propriétés qui vont permettre de répondre à des sollicitations mécaniques dans des milieux agressifs.
Dans des milieux agressifs, c'est-à-dire?
Des milieux où l'acier va être en contact avec des matériaux radioactifs, où il va être en...
D'où la mention du nucléaire.
Oui. C'est ça. Où il faut éviter tout ce qui est fissure, tout ce qui est endommagement. Il y a d'autres applications où on a développé des aciers qui vont résister à tout ce qui est hydrogène, donc pour le transport, fragilisation par l'hydrogène. Donc ma collègue Dr Majdouline va en parler après. Voilà. Donc,
et effectivement, vous avez, après toute cette formation à Metz notamment en France, vous avez rejoint cette équipe ici. Vous êtes associé à un des trois sous-départements dont vous avez parlé, ou vous êtes superviseur des trois?
Alors, au sein du département MSN, mon travail de recherche est effectué entre l'équipe qui travaille sur la métallurgie et également l'équipe qui travaille sur les aspects de traitement de surface. Parce que les deux thématiques finalement sont liées. Et donc on développe de nouveaux aciers, des nouveaux traitements de surface qui vont permettre de répondre à des besoins marocains ou africains. Et ça passe aussi par tout ce qui est lien avec l'industrie. Donc il y a un point très très important et un des objectifs de l'université, c'est d'être un pont entre le besoin industriel et comment être un support pour répondre à la diversification des produits, à la souveraineté en termes de développement de nouveaux produits made in Morocco.
You mentioned your neighbor, Al-Ustadha Majdouline Maher. She is a postdoc as well, and she is involved in metallurgy, one of the fields Youssef mentioned. Hi, and welcome in this program.
Thank you very much, Professor Ben Makhlouf. I will join everyone in thanking you for having us today, for giving us the opportunity to expose or to tell the audience and the world, mainly the Moroccan young researchers, the research that we're here doing at UM6P. And as my colleague Dr. Youssef mentioned, I'm working on metallurgy within the group of metallurgy at MSN department. I'm going to give a little background of my previous research. So I have my PhD in metallurgy and electrochemistry.
Not far from here.
Yes.
Haddad University.
Exactly. Yes, it was like a joint supervision between UM6P and Haddad University. It was also within an industrial project, since we're talking about OCP, about industrials. So it was financed by OCP, and it was in collaboration with the Technology Center of Fئات in Spain, where I did my experimental work. So my research was focused on developing and characterizing novel alloys that can withstand both abrasion and corrosion. Of course, taking into account the cost, because they had to be cost effective. So one of the main problems in the metallurgies, first of all, it's not very known as a research topic in Morocco, because of course we have foundries, we have steel makers in Morocco. However, it's not well researched. So what we're trying to do is as Youssef mentioned, we're trying to bridge the gap between industrials and research. So we're having two aspects. One, which is applied research in metallurgy, which aims to provide solutions to industrials for the steels, or let's say for the alloys that they are fabricating. And we are involved in the process of steel making, and also in improving the properties. And when we're talking about the properties, we're talking about the microstructure of our alloys, which is a very complex process. And then we have another aspect, which is the fundamental research, meaning everything that aims at understanding the mechanisms involved in alloy design. And we are bridging these two aspects in order to let's say provide viable solutions for the Moroccan ecosystem, Moroccan metallurgy ecosystem, and of course with an openness to Africa, and why not with the collaborations we're having to the world.
Will you, if we have to compare what you are doing with what we heard from chemistry, are you also for all this abrasion, corrosion you mentioned, having a kind of purification of all these elements that are toxic for humans, or can we compare with the purification that they are doing, or no, it's something else?
it's a little bit different because we're talking about the ores, meaning when we are talking about alloys, we have iron, chromium, and other elements that they are trying to remove because they are calling les métaux lourds. So they are trying to remove. What we are trying is to take these elements and to use them in the steel making or alloy making. So that's called the hydrometallurgy. That's a little bit different from what we are doing because they're doing the extraction and purification. So that we can have we can have that. We are also working on different topics. There is the energy, since we are talking about the CO2 emissions. Since we are approaching the near net zero CO2 emissions, so we're trying to include hydrogen, and we're talking about hydrogen embrittlement. So we're trying to also work on alloys that withstand this application. It extends also to automobile, to aeronautic, to defense. So we're working on multiple areas.
Thank you so much. And your colleague, Ustada Sukaina Lamnini, hi.
Thank you.
You were here postdoc, now you are scientist confirmed in this university, still in the same department, material science and nanotechnology. Please introduce yourself and give us maybe some elements about what you are doing about specifically this CO2 capture, which is very important.
Okay, thank you, Professor Ben Makhlouf, for the invitation. I'm Dr. Sukaina Lamnini, a scientist at MSN department. I work mainly on developing materials for direct air captures, which plays a crucial role in climate change mitigation and also reducing the carbon footprint. So briefly about my academic background, I obtained my bachelor and master degree from Rabat Faculty of Science on mathematical and physical science. After that, I got the opportunity to carry my thesis, to conduct my thesis in Hungary on material science and technology.
We have again, sorry to interrupt you, we have again the importance of mobility in Hungary. How does it happen to go so far?
It was thanks to a scholarship from Hungary. Then I joined the Politecnico di Torino in Italy as a young researcher, where I worked on automate design materials for 3D printing. After that, I came back to settle in Morocco, and I joined the UM6P as a postdoctoral, first as postdoc that lasted for 2 years. Then I was promoted as a scientist. So the challenge about my research resides mainly on the material, reducing the material cost for this technology, but also improving the performance of our materials at real conditions to capture the carbon dioxide, for example, at variable temperature, at low and high carbon dioxide concentration. So basically what we are doing is to explore, to overcome this problem. We are exploring biomass and low-cost materials, for example, valorizing the Moroccan alpha plant in producing materials with high affinity to capture the carbon dioxide. We are also valorizing industrial steel slag for this material to reduce the cost and also to improve the performance by adding of these materials, by adding new functionalities to these materials to be highly effective.
Thank you so much. All this research cannot take place if there are not engineers that are taking care of our environment, our urbanistic territorial planning. Your neighbor from the School of Architecture, but she's not architect, as well as all who are the researchers here dealing with the environment and the quality air climate. Hi, Ms. Rashida Al-Bouayed. Thank you for joining us and being on this program. I just told everyone that your field is urban and territorial planning. It's very important, the ecosystem you are living in. And please, after introducing yourself, tell us why it's so important to be close to the School of Architecture here in this university.
First of all, thank you, Professor Ben Makhlouf, for this kind invitation. I'm so delightful to be part of this discussion within the researcher of UM6B from different fields. My name is Rashida El-Boyadi. I'm a PhD student at the School of Architecture, Planning and Design. My research focuses on studying the intricate interplay between urbanization and the sustainability development of urban infrastructure at the scale of cities, of African cities more specifically, and at the Moroccan territory. So more specifically, my research aims to assess and estimate the impact of urbanization on the development of infrastructures using mixed methods and sets of data that ranges from remote sensing data to census data in order to provide actionable insights for policymakers to take their informative decisions.
Yes, and before you joined this university, you had an Erasmus exchange with a university, Fatih Sultan Mehmet,
yes,
which
exactly.
is
Indeed took part in an Erasmus exchange program at Fatih Sultan Muhammad University in the Graduate Institute.
In Turkey?
Yes, in Turkey, in Istanbul exactly. And it was a great experience for me as Istanbul city is a big city where there is similar urban challenges that our cities may be exposed to, like the congestion, the urban mobility, etc. So it was a rich experience into developing my research project.
Yes, and after this experience, you joined.
No, it was within the framework of the my research journey.
Okay.
And it was instead of doing research here, I joined the program for 6 months and then I continue my work here.
Thank you so much. Your neighbor is also associated with the School of Architecture. His research is dealing with quality of air and energy as well. Yusuf Hassan, hi, and welcome in this program.
Thank you very much. My name is Yusuf Hassan. I hold a bachelor's degree in energy engineering and a master's in electrical and electronics. I have jumped around, pursued a career in sales, and then went back to my major as a technical and energy engineer, where I've tackled the nexus, the Moroccan nexus of food, water, and agriculture. Now I've decided to pursue my PhD in the optimal integration of solar energy into thermochemical processes for the purpose of biomass valorization and bioenergy production.
Yeah, and of course the quality, the quality engineering and smart grids as well. So you had also an experience in Yaza University in Izmir.
Exactly.
And
yes.
What was it about?
Well, I pursued my bachelor's in Yashar University there, and then my master's. I also conducted research with a professor called Bashar. We've worked on electrocatalysis and valorizing glycerol derived from biodiesel in order to produce hydrogen chemicals and also for hydrogen storage.
Yes, we have already heard things about engineering, chemistry, about solar energy, and you are working on the optimization of solar energy as well, but maybe not in the same manner that what chemistry engineers are doing. Please give us more, say us more about it.
For sure. Okay, so we will be exploiting solar energy, solar thermal energy, in order to power thermochemical processes and influence the biomass that is valorized chemically. And by that, we would achieve bioproducts and fuels in either gaseous, liquid, or solid forms, as well as heat and electricity.
Yes, thank you. Your neighbor, Oumaima Olasri, bienvenue dans ce programme.
Merci beaucoup.
Ravi de vous accueillir. Alors vous aussi, vous vous occupez d'environnement, vous aussi vous vous occupez de qualité de l'air. Vous travaillez avec les professeurs Mestouri et Bahi, c'est ça? Je me trompe?
En fait, non.
Et avant de vous présenter, peut-être déjà insister sur la spécificité de votre domaine,
Oui.
qui relève des impacts, qui concerne les impacts environnementaux dans la conversion des déchets en énergie. C'est très, très spécifique.
Exactement.
Alors, peut-être d'abord, présentez-vous au public avant de nous en dire plus sur cette évaluation de ces impacts environnementaux.
Donc, avant tout, j'aimerais bien vous remercier pour l'opportunité. Ça me fait un grand plaisir et un honneur d'être aujourd'hui parmi vous et de rencontrer les différents chercheurs et compétences. Donc, je suis Olasri Oumaima, ingénieure environnement et actuellement doctorante première année à l'UM6P. Je mène mes recherches au niveau du centre ARC-Air, African Research Center on Air Quality and Climate, en collaboration avec Green Energy Park. Et je travaille, en fait, on travaille sur un projet majeur et un enjeu majeur, c'est celui de la gestion des déchets. On sait très bien que c'est un enjeu qu'on souffre, que ce soit à l'échelle internationale ou au Maroc. Et donc, il existe plusieurs filières de valorisation des déchets. Parmi ces filières, on trouve la valorisation énergétique. C'est vrai que celles-ci permettent de diminuer la dépendance à la mise en décharge, mais on ne peut pas nier que celle-ci peut avoir d'autres enjeux et d'autres impacts environnementaux qui peuvent être beaucoup plus significatifs si la technologie n'est pas adaptée au contexte marocain. Donc,
alors, précisément, je dois indiquer que vous êtes déjà ingénieur d'État et
Oui.
que vous faites partie de ce groupe d'ingénieurs qui, après avoir eu leur diplôme d'ingénieur, veulent continuer pour faire une thèse. Vraiment, je salue cet effort parce que vous auriez pu tout de suite arrêter là vos études et aller travailler dans un des domaines relatifs à votre compétence, mais vous avez voulu vous inscrire en thèse pour faire le travail que vous venez de présenter.
Oui.
Alors, dans votre travail, ce qu'on lit aussi, c'est que vous êtes intéressé par la valorisation durable. Alors, c'est quoi cette valorisation durable de cette conversion ou de cette limitation des impacts environnementaux des déchets en énergie?
Exactement. Lorsqu'on dit le terme durable, on dit directement les trois essentiels piliers. C'est le pilier économie, le pilier environnement et le pilier social. Donc, lorsqu'on dit qu'on veut une stratégie ou on veut une gestion durable des déchets, cela veut dire qu'on veut prendre en considération et l'impact environnemental, en plus de la faisabilité technique, économique et pourquoi pas aussi l'intégration de la partie sociale dans la gestion des déchets selon le contexte marocain.
Ah oui, c'est cela. Merci beaucoup. Votre voisin, CNS Sabri. Hi, CNS.
Hello. Hello.
Please introduce yourself. And you are also involved in this big question about environment. That you are using big data to empower this field. Please introduce yourself first.
Hello. It's an honor to be here within all these colleagues and to be invited in this program, Science and Civilization. So I am Anas Sabri, and I am a PhD student at African Research Center on Air Quality and Climate at UM6P. So I have a mathematical and computer science background. I have joined UM6P in 2022 as an intern in another interdisciplinary field, which is geographic information system and remote sensing. So, which is fascinating me to pursue as a PhD within the same university. So I work on the analysis of land use, land cover change, specifically from the urbanization context, to see how the urbanization impact agricultural land and to produce future scenarios, also to model the past and the present and the future scenarios of this change. So my research also is trying to assess the impact of urbanization from environmental and from socioeconomical perspective as a new way or a new mean to develop a territorial regeneration framework of integrating agriculture in urban area as a new urban development model that can produces or can improves agricultural productivity, reduces greenhouse gas emissions and improve air quality, produce or improving sustainable, resilient green cities.
What is it land use and cover use changes in your work, the work you are doing now?
Land use, land cover change are two components. Land cover means the physical characteristics of earths. It can be urban, it can be forest, it can be other types of the land cover types. Land use means how do we use this land cover type. For example, we use agricultural land. There are irrigated agricultural land, there are non-irrigated agricultural land. For urban area, there is industrial area, there is residential area, and so many other things. But the two are interchangeably can be used into one thing. So we analyze the urbanization patterns from the context of land use, land cover change, not just the urbanization patterns only.
Yes, all what you are doing is not that far from what your friend is doing, your neighbor, Al-Hadri Aoula. She's also completely involved in question of environment, more about natural ventilation. Is it, am I wrong or not? Please introduce yourself and say us more about this.
Before starting, I would like to thank you for hosting us, Mr. Ben Makhlouf, in this program. So, hello everyone. My name is Al-Hadri Aoula. I'm a PhD student at the African Center for Air Quality and Climate, and also the Green Energy Park. And I'm working on energy performance and environmental quality of urban farms in their neighborhood scale in a semi-arid context. Basically, my work is focusing on development solutions and having urban farms that are both energy efficient and environmentally resilient. Since we all know that nowadays we are speaking of climate changes, and also having specifically in the semi-arid context, we have low rainfalls, and also we have rough climate conditions. So we are aiming to adjust the urban forms and specifically buildings to overcome those challenges.
All our summer comfort and cooling technologies is in your hand. So how is it that with your research we will have more comfort when it's so big, where we have so great heat in Morocco, especially in summer?
Yes, exactly. So when we are talking about buildings, we are specifically enhancing or focusing on having given the occupants very their well-being. We are focusing on enhancing their well-being. So here we are not talking only about summer, but also other seasons. We need to have a building which is comfortable during the year, and which is specifically adapted to a context, a climatic context. Since semi-arid context is different from other climatic contexts, and we need to focus our research to solve each context problems and challenges, and having to ensure well-being for the occupants of those buildings.
Your neighbor, Umayma Zga, is also preoccupied by the building and the comfort in building, more specifically about life cycles of a building. Is a building so living entity that we can speak about life cycles for them as well? Introduce yourself first, please.
Greeting. My name is Umayma Zga, and I am a PhD student. So my expertise are the green building engineering, renewable energy, and finally life cycle assessment for the built environment. So my experience with UM6B started with my master here in the School of Architecture, Planning and Design. It was about, our master was about the green building engineering and energy efficiency. Then in my PhD or my search focus on the life cycle assessment of the built environment. So basically what is life cycle assessment is a method of conducting or knowing the effect of the product or a process or a service on the environment. So as my colleague said here, it's not only about the comfort that we need to be having inside the building, it's also its impact. So anything have an impact on the environment, even in the sector of construction or the building sector. It's the second sector in Morocco that consumes energy. So we need to know how or what's going on with the process. We need to know its environmental impact, and also we need to know that this aligns with the vision of 2030 for Morocco for the decarbonization, promoting sustainability and more circle economic.
And all what you are doing in this School of Architecture, have you really a strong interaction with architects, strictly speaking, who are really in charge of building, of the buildings?
So, as all of us, when we hear about architecture, we think about the building, the vision view of the building, how it's the decoration, the colors, everything. But in our masters, we were more focusing about the air quality, about the environmental impact of the building, about how we can make this building more green, not specifically with plants, but more optimizing the energy use. For example, we are talking about net zero buildings. So that's the goal of any engineer, to have a building who does not consume as much as energy. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Now we will move to human sciences. They are very important. They are not that much represented in this university, but we have here some amazing, outstanding postdocs as well as PhD students who are doing humanities and human sciences. And please, I'm just speaking to all the engineers here, PhD students, just consider that there is only one culture, not two cultures, not culture of techniques and culture of human sciences, because all the techniques are happening in, of course, in a human field, not completely in natural societies. And people who are dealing with anthropological background, social background, as well as epistemic background, what's about the manner we are dealing with our knowledge, are also so important. I am in charge of many programs and centers here in this university, centers of African studies and centers of Arabic philosophy and philosophy of sciences. And there is with us Ismail Asban, who has already his PhD, and he will introduce himself, and you will see that he can really interact with all of you. Al-Ustad Ismail Asban, please introduce yourself.
سعيد جدا للمشاركة في مئوية البرنامج، وسعادتي أكبر بالتواجد مع هؤلاء الباحثين المميزين. كما ذكرتم، اسمي إسماعيل أصبان، أنا الآن باحث في مرحلة ما بعد الدكتوراه في مركز البحث في الفلسفة العربية الكلاسيكية وفلسفة فلسفة العلوم. كنت قد أنجزت أطروحتي في جامعة القرويين دار الحديث الحسنية بالرباط تحديداً، واشتغلت بموضوع تلقي فخر الدين الرازي في الغرب الإسلامي، والآن أتابع مسارات هذا البحث من خلال الاشتغال بقطب الدين المصري، كتابه شرح كليات القانون لابن سينا، وباعتبار أن قطب الدين المصري يعد التلميذ المغربي الوحيد الذي نعرف لحد الآن لفخر الدين الرازي.
نعم. Mr. Asban, as you just mentioned, this work is very important. So you are interested in the history of medicine, of Arabic medicine, of the comments of this huge book, the Canon, Avicenna Canon, and of course your place is natural in this university, especially Faculty of Medicine, and you are as well teaching in this faculty, History of Medicine. So you see that from the theology as well and philosophy, you can jump to medicine with this bridge of history of medicine. Thank you so much. Your neighbor, Mojupuela Oyeyemi, hi.
Hello.
You are from Nigeria. You are doing your PhD here. Please introduce yourself and say and give us more hints about the field of your research.
Thank you very much. I am delighted to be here. And my name is Modugola Oyeyemi. I am a Nigerian, and I am at the Center of African Studies. I'm a PhD student in my first year. So my research is focusing on literature and African studies, particularly gender relations in contemporary Nigerian literature. So literature, I believe, is a powerful tool to understanding our society. You know, it talks about the political, the cultural, and the social experiences that we go through in our society. And the topic of gender is very important to me because I believe that even in literature, in research, we've seen that over the years, there's always been a focus on, you know, the male scholars, especially in writing. There was a focus for a very long time on African male writers like Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, Ngugi wa Thiong'o. But now we see that there is an evolution and there are so many women writers today. And I believe that their works are also deserve to be analyzed and also, you know, there has to be some focus
Thank
on
you
that
for all these precisions. I totally agree with you. If we are just involved in so many countries in Africa, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Morocco, as well as, of course, Nigeria, we have to know about these societies. We have to be connected.
Absolutely.
What's dealing in this country and the social, as you said, all the layers, the social, the economic, the historic background, and of course, the gender issues that are more and more now a thing that we have to face. Thank you so much. We jump to your neighbor, Si Hussein Debi. You are also involved in African Studies, associated to the Center of African Studies. And please introduce yourself and mention the PhD you are doing here.
Thank you so much, Professor Ali. Well, first of all, I'm very thrilled to be part of this ensemble of brilliant researchers here to celebrate the 100th episode of your beautiful program, حضارة. I am Hussein Debi, and I am a PhD student at the Center for African Studies, led by Professor Ali bin Makhlouf. And my research project revolves around mobility in Africa within the colonial and post-colonial projects, as manifested in the novels of two Nobel Prize winners, Abdurrazzaq Gurna and Doris Lessing. So I'm interested, in a nutshell, in the impact of migration, displacement on the identity, sense of belonging, and selfhood of the characters in the novels. And as you've mentioned, Professor, I want to stress on this point that often it is always disconcerting for me to hear people talk in antagonistic terms about human sciences and the other technical sciences, whereas I think that they feed from one another. And Aoula, my colleague, she talked about literature as a tool to understand our societies. I think also it is a tool to enlarge our empathy. I mean, the more you read novels, when you read Hamlet, you begin to see the world through the eyes of Hamlet. When you read Madame Bovary, you see the world through the eyes of Madame Bovary. So your empathy enlarges and becomes bigger. And I think in a world where there's a lot of divide, we need empathy.
And I hope that this episode will make these humanities more visible to the others, to the engineers, and to let everyone interact with this Center for African Studies, with this all, as I said, anthropological and social background of Africa. Thank you so much. You. And we just move now to Lucie Tardy. Bonjour et bienvenue.
Bonjour, merci beaucoup, professeur Ben Makhlouf. Merci pour cette invitation qui m'honore beaucoup. Merci.
Nous sommes très heureux de vous accueillir ici. Vous avez fait toutes vos études en France. Vous êtes déjà docteur, vous êtes agrégé, vous êtes normalienne, vous avez tous les diplômes requis. Et puis, vous avez décidé de venir faire un postdoctorat ici, en interaction avec les étudiants marocains. Comment est né pour vous ce projet de migrer? Votre voisin vient de parler de la mobilité à l'intérieur de l'Afrique. Vous faites une mobilité d'une contrée européenne vers le sud, ce qui est très rare, mais qui peut-être va de plus en plus se développer. Et plutôt que d'aller dans une autre contrée européenne, vous avez choisi de venir au Maroc.
Eh bien oui, c'est singulier, mais c'est aussi rattaché à mon projet et à mes études que jusqu'à maintenant, qui portent sur la philosophie arabe médiévale, pour dire le mot arabe, la falsafa, et aussi le kalam, donc la théologie islamique rationnelle. Donc pour moi, ça avait du sens de venir ici. Je travaille aussi surtout sur Ibn Rushd, qui a été réhabilité à la fin de sa carrière après avoir été persécuté, traqué en Andalousie, qui est venu se réfugier à Marrakech, où il a été en plus finalement réhabilité par le sultan, et c'est là aussi où il est mort. Donc je vois aussi, j'avais envie, en plus de ce clin d'œil que j'y vois plus que d'un signe, j'avais aussi envie de voir ici comment les étudiants et les chercheurs et les spécialistes marocains travaillaient aussi sur ces textes de langue arabe, des textes de sagesse et de philosophie islamique. Donc pour moi, ça avait beaucoup plus de sens. Et puis je découvre ici aussi de nouvelles manières de travailler, une approche beaucoup plus contextuelle, beaucoup plus ancrée aussi dans la réalité historique, culturelle, religieuse des textes de cette époque, et beaucoup moins anhistorique, comme souvent on le fait en France, en considérant les philosophes comme de pur esprit qui ne sont pas intégrés dans une époque. Donc c'est ce que je suis venue chercher.
Si j'avais à résumer précisément quelque chose de tout ce qui s'est dit ici, c'est que la mobilité est très importante. Mobility is so important for all researchers. You mentioned Turkey, you mentioned Ghana, you mentioned France, you mentioned the US. All this mobility is very important, and I am really sure that you are building a beautiful future for not only Africa, but for humankind. Thank you so much for being part of this program today, for this 100th episode of Ilm wa Hadara, Science and Civilization. It was amazing all what you said, and you are building really the future of Morocco, of Africa, and why not of humankind. You are really amazing students, PhD students, postdoctoral fellows, senior fellows, senior scientists as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. مشاهدي الأعزاء، شكرا جزيلا لتتابعكم لهذا البرنامج. كانت هذه الحلقة 100 في برنامجكم هذا علم وحضارة، سيونس سيفيليزاسيون. وأودعكم وأقول لكم أني أستمر معكم في الحلقات التي تأتي بعد هذه. شكرا جزيلا ومع السلامة.